So the goal for this discussion is to empower both instructors and students with tools that will help make group projects less awful. Fair question, why am I credible? Reason number one, I hate group projects. No joke, I dropped a science class in college because it required me to go to lab, and lab required lab partners. But also, the information in here comes from project managers, students, and academic works on how to collaborate. So let's start with some facts. Fact one, students hate group projects. They really, really, really hate group projects. Fact two, professors know that students hate group projects. We actually do read the evaluations. But we still assign group projects for a couple reasons. First, because student-to-student engagement is really popular in academic circles, but also because group projects are kind of part of life. We all work together all the time, and many times with incompatible people. So early birds have to work with people who are procrastinators, and workhorses often have to work with slackers. So when it comes to complaints about group projects, one big theme emerges. I have to do all the work. Go right on ahead and do everything. You don't have to tell anybody else in the group that you've already got a plan B and a backup and you've already done everything. You can let everyone contribute, but if they fall through, you'll already have your emergency backup plan completely ready and way ahead of time. Why should you do this? Well, because you might end up having to do everything anyway, except for this is less stressful. You've already embraced that fact and you have nothing to worry about. So here's another perspective on that same theme. Sports allegories aren't really my strong suit, but I do know what a ball hog is. It's someone in basketball who won't pass the ball to their teammates because that player thinks that they are the only competent person on the team. The big question is that sense of, I have to do everything, is it reflective of reality? Or is there some kind of ball hog influence at work in the self-perception on group projects? Regardless, we've got to figure out a way to work together to make group projects less awful. So I think it starts with a survey. If the instructor doesn't give the survey, certainly group members can give a survey to each other. Ask these questions. What can you contribute to the project? Can you contribute 5 sources? Can you do grammar editing, formatting? Do you do graphics? Here's another question. If a project is due in 10 days, what day would you probably get it finished? That's a way to identify people who are procrastinators and distinguish them from early birds and to assign appropriate roles. Another question, how do you feel about a blank slate? Some people have a really hard time starting with nothing, and they make good editors. Other people like to start with blank slates, but maybe aren't so good at editing. Finally, are you a perfectionist? And that question can also be asked this way, which words are better, done or perfect? The next thing you have to do is identify steps in the project and then assign them based on the survey results. So if you were writing a paper, you might have jobs like you need a manager whose job it is to nag transparently, maybe also someone who's good with deadlines, who requires group check-ins. You need someone who collects research, and you can put your slackers here because that's early in the process. You need someone who's good with rough drafts, and that will not be someone who is a perfectionist. Maybe you need someone in charge of tables, and you need someone in charge of editing, and that is where you can use a perfectionist as long as that person is also deadline-oriented. One person on this team can have multiple roles, and you can also assign multiple people to one role, like collecting data. Once you get the roles, work together to collaborate on ideal deadlines. You want members to try to be active in setting their own deadlines because that makes them more accountable. And if they miss their deadline, then you can step in and go ahead and do a workhorse thing and finish up their job. They know it was coming. They missed their own deadline. I'm good at nagging, so the manager role is kind of good for me, but I'm also good with blank slates. I can churn out a lot of stuff really fast, so a rough draft assignment would also be a great one for me. Breaking a group project down into little tasks and letting each person responsible for their tasks set their own deadlines creates more transparency and creates also at the same time better collaboration. And that's really the key to more successful group projects.